All right, so definitely a lot later in the day than I preferred to do this, but it's Friday, and yeah, you all know that that new Kendrick dropped. You know what I'm saying? So we had to get a few multiple run throughs, listen throughs of that album, which is absolutely 100% goated. If you know what's up anyway. If you don't think so, then this channel is definitely not for you. No, I'm just playing. But yeah, it has nothing to do with the rest of this video at all, but that was an absolute amazing surprise to discover this Friday morning, and definitely was squabble up well worth the wait. And you already know. It's game over. It's game over. It's 2024 Kendrick's year. So, small dubs, small wins, right? Started this 4 days ago. 4 days ago. We were at 216, and we are now up to 227. 227 subscribers. That's 11 subscribers in about 4 days. It's fantastic. That's actually, you know, baby steps, but we're moving, you know. We're catching momentum here, and I'm digging it. So we got to keep this ball rolling. Getting into the video, I thought that it would be a good thing to discuss not only why are you getting into dancing, like, you know, that answer is more for you specifically. So wanting to know your why, and then what influenced you, what inspired you to get into dancing. Okay, but now that we are here and you've chosen to, you know, go down this path, creative path, and, you know, we're trying to envelop a style of, you know, or like, not we're trying to, or you're trying to figure out what direction you're wanting to take this, right? Every waking morning, it's a new journey, right? Something else within the dance world can inspire you and kind of lead you down a different path, if you know that makes sense. And right now, the best thing I feel like this today's topic could be is some helpful tips that I wish I had getting into dancing, you know, a long time ago when I first started getting into this, when I was much younger. And one of those things being, there's never a wrong time and there's never too much practice towards foundation, right? I'm pretty sure, you know, we were kind of clear on that in previous videos, that every time you practice, every time you dedicate yourself to making a specific time out of your day to honing and bettering your craft, whatever style it is you choose, dedicate a specific chunk of that time to just re-going through the basics, right? Keep up with that, because executing those specific basics for that specific style, whether it's, you know, popping, crumping, waving, tutting, you know, there are specific things that you want to make sure that you have at a foundational level that stay clean no matter what, through and through, whether it's a performance, it's a battle, you know, you're sessioning with people, you just showing out, right? Popping wise, you want to make sure that your poses, your uh, lines, your footwork, your pops are just immaculate, right? Tutting, you want to make sure your angles are clean. So if like, you got this whole like hand thing going on when you're tutting, like not so clean. You want to have those flat right angles, right? Especially like in here, or stretch that wrist out. So when you're bending backwards, take those, fingers, kind of press them back. If you want to get a little bit more, take and push here, right, with your palm. You would push those top knuckles back at the base of your finger, and then push those fingers to get an extra stretch there. Just not just the fingers themselves. Pushing the top part of your palm, the base of your fingers, will help get that extra little bend in there. Same goes the opposite direction. If you're trying to get flexible joints in the shoulders to do the flexing, stretch, make sure you're doing, an adequate amount of stretching. Just remember to like run through foundation. Keep up on your basics, and it will set you apart from everyone else tenfold. That way, when you do decide to move on for more complex, you know, moves or intricate moves, or, you get into like the whole storytelling with your body, you're able to piece everything together more perfect, more in a higher quality of dance if your foundation is prime. Another tip is again, making sure that not only physically are you good with your movements, like strength wise, flexibility, stamina, stuff like that. That's kind of everything that you'd want to get physically ready for, in a sense. So like working out, eating good, enough sleep, but kind of common sense things there. You want to make sure that your mental is good, right? So getting into dancing, you are an artist at this point. Becoming a dancer, you are a creative individual, and your art is through your body. Okay. And I know a lot of times within artists, most are almost every artist I know, anybody that has a creative mindset, we all at some point struggle with, like a creative block. We get insecure about our art very often. And that's not anything to be ashamed of. It's a common thing. What you don't want is to let yourself succumb to those insecurities. I myself have fallen victim to doing so, and all that does is hinder yourself to pretty much falling into that pit of like self-doubt, right? Am I good enough? Am I doing the right thing? Should I keep going? Like this, that, and the third. Like absolutely. Absolutely, yes, you should. I encourage anybody with a artistic venture to fully pursue, 100% go all in. Because within that insecurity, right? It's not because you don't think you're yeah. So I was trying to find a better way of saying that, but the insecurity, it just comes from it's something that you have to look into. That's a internal thing. you have to realize that you're not everybody else. You may idolize a specific dancer or dancers, other people outside of dance, and you might think that, through a screen like your phone, your TV, tablet, computer, whatever, you think these people are like up here, like at a level that, like you wish you can get to, that's what you want to be, but there's such a gap that you don't think that you can ever close that gap. So that's when the insecurities start to creep in, right? And you stop doing the work. You kind of give up on yourself, and that's not fair to you. And the farther you push yourself down this road and you gain supporters, it's not fair, to them either, because they believe there are people out there that will genuinely believe that, you are a talented individual, you are very passionate about it, and then you kind of stop putting in the work. And I myself am speaking from experience there. You can have all the talent in the world, but you hear it all the time. Talent will get you so far. You need to have consistency, discipline. You need to put that hard work in. Not everybody's going to like you, and you shouldn't care. Your art isn't going to be for everybody, and mainly your art is specifically for you. And you are just out there putting it for the world to see, and people will come back and say, "Hey, I like what you got going on. You inspire me to do this." That's what it's all about. So don't let your insecurities get the better of you, right? Take what you want to do, take what you like doing, you love doing, and hold it as tight as possible and run with it. Create an environment for yourself mentally that you don't have to succumb to those insecurities. And they'll happen. It'll pop up, but you don't have to let it get to you, right? Just because, somebody that's been doing it far longer than you has had more accomplishments doesn't mean you can't have those same things too. Or let's say somebody younger than you, or somebody that has been doing it for less time than you, and they're getting the recognition that you feel you kind of might deserve, or they're getting the pats on the back and the follows on Instagram and all that, and you're wondering why that's not happening for you. Like, first of all, are you putting in just as much work? Are you putting a video out? Are you trying to perform as much? Are you competing as much? Are you, networking with the people in your local community? Those are things to look into. And if, yes, you are doing all those things, what does that person have anything to do with your life, right? Yes, it's kind of discouraging that, I've been dancing for X amount of years and they've only been doing it for, this short amount of time, and they already are doubled what, I would like to have obtained. So what? Right? Like, even if they didn't, that still doesn't affect what I got going on. Doesn't affect what you got going on. If anything, that should just push you even harder to be like, I feel like I deserve that. I'm gonna go. Time to go back to the drawing board, work harder, and so that can be mine. Okay, so don't let the insecurities get to you, and if they do, pull yourself out, because you don't deserve to put yourself down like that. Nobody does. And quick little side note, side story anyway. This is kind of what I think I'm like making the whole demon brand about, right? When I was a kid, given that my name is Damien, everybody in, my neighborhood would just call me, they would call me D Man, right? D Man. Little, young, corny nicknames we all had. But when people would say it fast, yo, demon, demon, right? But I never liked being affiliated, or when I got older, right? And I feel like Damien already has kind of like some negative connotations there, and I'm not trying to be affiliated with any of that. So when I was getting older, didn't want to be kind of really affiliated as my nickname being Demon as it continued to stick. And so what I did is I just removed the two A's in my name for DMIN, D-Min. And that was my thing, with just like the real close friends I had in the neighborhood. I always had like I was always somewhere else with dance names, and I want to say about 8, 9 years ago, I thought about the whole DMIN, and I kind of wanted to give that meaning. And so I know that I struggled with those specific things we were just talking about, with the whole insecurities, dealing with, like negativity from outside sources, or, negativity from yourself about yourself. So I had come up with like a little acronym for demon. And the whole thing is destroying my inner negativity. Demon. And that's kind of the message that I'm wanting to really kind of get across for anybody wanting to start their life in a form of artistry, specifically, dancing, because that's where I can relate to, you guys with. So, with that being said, you know, sorry about that. My daughter had to come say. Sorry about that. My daughter had to come say goodnight real fast. But getting back into the whole, destroying my inner negativity, that goes to my whole message that I would like to spread to anybody watching my videos, or anybody that would take a class from me, that finds me on Instagram. It's I want to be able to inspire people to better themselves on the daily and be comfortable with who they are, you know, not only as like an artist but as a person, right? Because it's hard out here, man. It's hard, you know. And when we put our art out there, right? Whether it's a painting, or it's a song, or a dance video, we put that out there for the world to see, and it's us at our most vulnerable, right? It's when we're completely open, and we feel ecstatic when there's a lot of feedback, there's a lot of support and love for it. You're getting likes and views and follows, but those numbers don't define who you are, right? So although it's amazing, it's a great feeling, and you feel like recognized and acknowledged as an artist when you put that art out there and it does good. But then when you put it out there and you're not getting the feedback that you were kind of hoping for, and those views and those follows and those likes don't kind of rise up to what you were hoping, that's when that insecurity and that discouragement kind of comes in. And don't let it. I feel that as social media as a whole, like, it's a great tool for artists to put their stuff out there, but because we're putting that vulnerability out there, we kind of get wrapped up in the numbers of it, right? And we shouldn't. Just because somebody or people didn't like a specific thing that we put out doesn't mean that we suck. Doesn't mean that we're bad at all. Like, that's not the case at all. It's just the people that do like your stuff just haven't happened to come across it just yet. So keep putting it out there. You can't put one song out there. You can't put one video out there. You can't, come up with one great idea and that be your work and hope that, that's going to where I'm going to get recognized. No, you got to consistently put stuff out there. You got to consistently get better and put that stuff out there. You can't, stay stagnant and, once you get discouraged, like, I give up and move on to the next thing. Like, you owe it to yourself to pick it up, especially if you found a passion for it, to get as best as you feel that you possibly could get and see where it takes you, see what you get from it. And, that's kind of what I'd like to get across for everybody. But, we're here right now and it'll happen eventually. So yeah, don't let the insecurities really get to you. Don't be insecure about your art. Be unapologetically authentic, to yourself. Don't succumb to, the pressures of, trends and what everybody else is doing. Like, if, you want to hop in on something because it looks dope and fun and it can fit along with what you're doing, more power to you. But don't go out of your comfort zone, like, in a sense to where it's not you at all, so you can get follows or likes or whatever, right? Stay true to yourself and gain that traction that way. And as you continue, make sure that you stay knowledgeable within your craft. So learn the history, right, of where this art form came from, where, where did it start, what are the roots of it, who pushed the boundaries and got it to where it is today. How can I contribute to amplify that effect for the next generation, right? Because I had said that in, I believe, was it the day two video? The best way to pay homage to the ones that did it before you, and the amplifying it for the ones to do it after you, it's to be knowledgeable. You can take in the knowledge from the sources of its start, the pioneers, for you to educate the next generation, right? So you want to be able to preserve the art form. You don't want to let those insecurities get the best of you. And, you want to hold on to your why. Again, why are you doing this? What inspired you to get here? So those are just a few quick little tips. I know we heavily or I heavily went into the whole insecurity thing, but I cannot stress that enough, that almost, not even almost, like every artist I've ever known has had that, like, setback. And from, like, again, coming from experience and me speaking personally, out of anybody in a creative outlet, I know that everyone can relate with the whole creative block and letting secure insecurities get the best of you. But I can tell you confidently that I let that hit me hard, right? Like, I should have had this video out a decade ago, but because I let myself fall victim to those insecurities, and I doubted myself and everything, I didn't go as hard as I should have. But, lesson learned. A mistake was made, a lesson was learned, and we've come back better. And that's all that really matters. So, I don't know how long this video has gone so far, and I know that we didn't really do any dancing, but I feel like reassurance is a necessity for those that want to get in a creative, avenue. And I want to be able to offer that reassurance that, just because you don't feel adequate doesn't mean that you're any less than somebody that you see online or somebody that you may personally know. Everyone has to start somewhere, square one. There's always the first step. Doesn't matter who you are. And nobody ever sees the beginning, right? Every time you have, like, man, I just saw this dope dancer, he just won Red Bull. Shout out MT Pop. And, people will come across his viral videos now and will think, like, man, this dude is amazing. He's a god. How could he move like that, But they didn't see him when he was just coming up, right? They didn't see him when he was, spending hours practicing, with him alone or him with a couple friends. Like, you never see that, right? You only see or like hear about that at that big moment when they have, the little backstory. So grind it out, get to work and get grinding. Put the time in, put the effort in, and if you believe in, your passion and, this is something you really want to do, I encourage you to do it. It will definitely be mentally tough at times, but, just tell yourself that it's worth it when you're confident in yourself. And that's all you kind of really need. So I wish you, the best of luck on this journey. I hope you stick around in, future videos. If you have any questions, I definitely am going to share some more, like tips and, give advice whenever it, kind of pops in. You can even ask. But yeah, it's fun. It's great, like pushing yourself creatively, I feel is an amazing thing. And I can't wait to see if for those of you watching this video and have made it this far into the video, and if you're new here, I hope to see where your journey takes you, because the world would be black and white, very bland, without any type of creativity or any type of art form. So yeah, I don't want to get this all kind of like awkward, rambly. So we're gonna kind of jump back to this Kendrick album. What y'all think? What y'all think? Kendrick Fire was, ooh boy. I kind of feel like we're gonna get like an extended album or like a side B. You know, we might get a second one before the Super Bowl. I have a hunch in my belly. I'm hoping, but if it's not, at least we got this album. At least not a single skippable song, not a one. And he gonna call that man. Do y'all really think he's gonna play Not Like Us at the Super Bowl? I hope so. Only time will tell, I guess.